Okay, so we're talking about passive income for web designers and how it's a lie. I know that's a bold statement, but stick around and I'll prove it to you. So, since we're talking about income, what we're really interested in is wealth, right? But we have to make sure we understand the four types of wealth. So there's health wealth, right? Because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And all the money in the world can't necessarily make you healthy. And if you're dead, you can't spend the money. Money's the easy one, so we'll skip over that. There's time wealth, right? And there's a couple different ways to think about this. There's free time, so that you can kind of do what you want. At certain times you can rest. But there's also, when you're younger, you have a wealth of time versus someone who is older. They might have less time on this earth, right? And then social wealth. I don't think people talk about this enough, but of course, me being with personal funnels, relationships are important. Do you have people that care about you, and can you spend time with them, right? So that's definitely important. Okay, people throw this one around a lot, especially if they're talking about passive income, but they do because it's powerful. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Ouch. All right. Now let me pause for a second and say that all of this is coming from the fact that I've created a course for web designers and other creatives on how to set up retainers. The answer is retainers. I'm going to explain why throughout this video, but I would love it if you check out the course, and that'll really solve your problems as far as not working until you die. Okay? So let's get back to it. So once again, what we're really thinking about here when we say, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work until you die, what we're really saying is passive income is making money while you sleep, right? Because you're not doing anything while you sleep, you're resting, okay? But that's actually a lie, all right? Because think about all the people that are preaching about passive income. Here's a great example for, let's say, web designers or web developers. If you're a designer, maybe you've created some brushes or some special things for Adobe products, and you sell it in a marketplace. But you had to work on it first. You had to put that work into it first, and somebody's got to get people that go to it and buy it. And so that often creates the work up front, and then you have to build an audience, right? Because nobody's going to do that for you. It's the same thing with if you're a developer and you created some really cool lines of code that create a tool or can save people time. Well, you had to put the work in first, and then how are people going to know about it? So then you have to promote it. So there's not really anything passive about that per se. Same thing with when people say this, what they're often talking about is, well, I built a course and I created it once and then now I can sell it. The problem, what they don't tell you is that it's a lot of work to build an audience, and you have to constantly be working to sell this course. And so it is not passive at all. Same thing with affiliate marketing, same thing with ads. Most of the stuff that they're talking about is that you have to create an audience. You have to create content. You are constantly working. Now, yes, you have sort of divorced time from money. You may have taken steps closer to making it more passive, but we're not really using the correct term. Okay, the correct term is, dun dun dun, you need leverage. Okay, what is leverage? Leverage is getting bigger results with less effort, because there's always going to be work involved unless you're some trust fund kid. And if you're watching this, you're not, and neither am I. So, let's move on, right? How do web designers get it done? So there are actually a lot of different types of leverage. We're going to talk specifically about for web designers and developers. You make use of technology leverage, right? It is so amazing that you can figure out a system or some lines of code and then create that once and reuse it. That is leverage. Okay, it is, yes, it's making your income more passive. Hopefully you get paid for this knowledge and the value that you bring, but it's leverage. Okay, and so what we love to do at my services agency, Silderman Solutions, is I love to work with the best designers and developers where they, over time, have developed amazing systems, and they know, okay, we're going to build this very high quality website where we meet the client's needs and we meet the customer's needs, and we create an amazing user experience for both of them, and we build it in such a high quality way that it's going to run pretty well. And all we have to do, remember I mentioned we were getting to retainers, all we have to do is monthly do some updates in the background to ensure that it's running. The next level of that is being an agency owner, by the way, which is that I use other people's time and their knowledge let's say web developers, who are then using the technology. And so that's how you kick it up a notch with your leverage. And maybe we'll get to that on a later video. All right, next. I mentioned it, why you need retainers. Well, it's a great way for web designers and developers to get paid for the value that they bring, right? And to use leverage, to be highly leveraged, so that they're really not spending a lot of time maintaining this site. And so the course teaches you how to do that. You have to know how to set up the retainer correctly. Man, when I first started, I killed myself. I was working. I was burning myself out. And so let's talk about how you can set up retainers the wrong way. Getting paid hourly can really be bad. It's a low leverage situation, right? What you want to be doing is getting paid for the value that you bring and your expertise. And only getting paid hourly punishes you for learning things, right? We just talked about it. If you learn systems and you, through being smart and through working hard, come up with some amazing lines of code, come up with amazing systems to be more efficient, you don't want to get paid hourly because you want to get paid by the value that you deliver and you want to get paid for your expertise. But hourly kind of punishes you for being good at your job. Another bad one is just being hands, right? Where the client is like micromanaging, leaning over your shoulder. You're an order taker and they're like, oh, make it bigger. Oh, what about this? And move it over here. Let's try that. My wife says this about the logo and or about the design or whatever else. And she's not the target customer, right? And you don't want to be an order taker, okay? You want to be an expert, a trusted advisor. And you don't want to be engaged in this unspecialized, unskilled work that can be replaced by artificial intelligence or, honestly, this type of work you should have a virtual assistant doing. If you become, let's say, an agency, you hire it out to a virtual assistant. But I know that there are some of you who are still getting stuck doing this kind of work because nobody's explained to you how you can do better, right? Which is what I hope to do in the course. So, what is this unspecialized, unskilled work? It's endless content updates, approving users. That one drives me nuts. Moderating comments and dealing with all that spam. That's a pain. And just posting blog posts, right? And as I said, that's low value stuff that you really could. And listen, we do this honorably. Okay, you can take advantage of geo arbitrage. Hire someone in another country, still pay them very well based on the exchange rate, based on the geo arbitrage. Listen, you as a highly skilled designer, developer, should not have to do those kind of tasks. Listen, I'm not giving the course away for free. I can't explain everything to you on this graphic, but essentially this graphic is from the course, and I'll do my best to explain almost everything on this. All right, now, we talked about how we're trying to lift this Herculean weight of wealth, right? We're trying to become wealthy. And we talked about how you need leverage. And so we know that if you're using a lever, the further away you get from the weight, the easier it is to lift. Okay, so let's start with the tasks that are way too close to the fulcrum, way too close to the weight. And we just mentioned these kind of tasks where you have little leverage, you offer little value. These are things that virtual assistants should be doing, or soon AI will be doing, or is already doing, right? Like, okay, moderating comments and approving new users and blog posting and things like that. Okay, maybe some little design tweaks or create an image or something like that. The next step up, you'll notice we're getting better, but we're still not at the top, is maybe you have a certain amount of deliverables that you have to do each month, right? And you're doing a project. Okay, you're delivering this amount of content. Okay, you're delivering these images. Okay, you're doing this or that page. Okay. And that's not bad because maybe you have a high hourly rate, but still not great and you can do better. So what's the best that we can do in retainers is offering certainty, access, and assurance. And like I said, I'm not going to give the whole course away for free, guys, but let's talk about certainty. Okay, so I mentioned it earlier. I love working with amazing web designers, and what they do is we have discovery, we listen to the client, we meet their needs, we meet the needs of the customer, and we build these high quality websites, right? And we maintain those sites monthly on retainer, and we offer certainty to the client. So this is the one, like I said, that I'm going to explain to you. And we want to work with clients. You want to work with clients that are professionals. They're not micromanagers. They have their own job to do. They're at a big enough company that they're worried about their own job, and they hire you to offer them certainty that the site will always work, right? I always say in the sales process that your website is your best salesman. It's running 24 hours a day. It never has a sick day. It is the best representation of you and your company. So you need that to run always. And especially if you're running an e-com site, like how much money are they losing if the site goes down, right? Listen, you don't puff out your chest and say to the client, well, it's always going to work and I guarantee it. That's not it. You know things can happen. But you let them focus on their job because they're an expert there and you're an expert on websites. And so in the sales process, as you talk to them, you're going to give them certainty. And I should mention that the Retainers course has scripts and has talking points and explains the best ways and the best analogies to use to explain it to the client so that it makes sense to them. And so, they'll be on board with you and it'll help you land more clients. But you're offering that certainty. We know you build it right, take a couple minutes each month to update the site, to check and make sure that, the updates didn't crash the site, all of that. Listen, you're a skilled web developer. You know how to do that. But the thing is, let me just take a detour here. Too many of you that I run into are arguing about, should we charge for hosting, or this little minutia, these silly little things. But if you go after the right type of clients, they don't want to worry about it. They want to worry about their own job. They have their own job to worry about. And if you take this off their hands, they're willing to reward you handsomely so that they can sleep well at night, right? So you provide that certainty that, okay, we built it right from the start. Now we're doing that monthly maintenance and it's just going to run, and it's going to run beautifully, and it's going to make them money. So you focus on providing value to the client, and that value, one of the points of value, the other we're not going to talk about right now, is that the site's just always going to work. And these contracts that I have go on and on forever. That's why the course is called Revenue on Repeat, because I love this recurring revenue. We built it right, we maintain it right, we maintain the relationships, and that monthly recurring revenue, it has done amazing things for my business. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about my first retainer. Now, this is like 12 years ago, 13 years ago, when I didn't even know what I was doing. My first retainer was $250 a month. Now, I was working myself to death, but let's think about this for a little bit. The amazing power of retainers. I didn't even know what I was doing, and I was making $3,000 a year. And that was just one client. Think about how many years that can go on for. Recurring revenue is amazing. How many clients do you have that you could start applying that to and just start stacking the money, right? Now my retainers are orders of magnitude greater than this. But can you imagine if you got all your clients on retainer and you're making, 10 times this, $36,000 a year, $50,000 a year, what that could do for your business? And here's the amazing high leverage offer that I have for you. What's the ultimate form of leverage? The course is only $49. Only $49. And think about the thousands of dollars that you could make. And it's not just $1,000 this year. The reason that I chose this infinity symbol for this course is because if you're doing a good job, this keeps going and going and going. A lot of my retainer clients I've had for 5-6 years because I keep surfing them well. And that recurring revenue is the lifeblood of my business. It does amazing things for my business and my health and my free time. So click the link in the description and check out the course. I hope you purchase it. I hope to get to know you better. If you have any questions, do me a favor and just leave a comment and I'll respond. All right, guys. Thanks. Take care.